We are going to set up a foundation for our Power BI desktop. So we're going to use the same dataset that we have used in our data modeling in one of the data modeling session, right? So we're going to use the same sales dataset, which is going to be our foundational dataset for the entire DAX course. Okay. So this is very crucial step that we are going to, set up the foundation. So all I'm going to do is import the same dataset, click on Excel workbook as my data source, workbook, desktop. I'm going to DAX decoded. We have a sales dataset. This is the Excel sheet that we're going to pull in for our. We have customers data, products data, regions data, and sales data. So I'm going to select all of these 4 tables. Click on transform data. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to understand what is important here. Okay. So first thing is that as soon as you pull the data, everybody is aware of this, right? By now, everybody should be aware of this. The data types are very important. So the data types of each column, okay, because these are the columns that are going to help you further in your calculation. So you may have to make sure all these data types are well defined, because that's where your DAX will be easily, can be calculated. Otherwise, if there is any issue with the data type, DAX doesn't work properly. Okay, so we need to make sure the data type is defined well. So already we are aware that Power BI is helping us, automatically define this change type by using this automatic change type. So, but still you have to skim through this column so that you are double checking each and every type of the column. Like this 1.2 means decimal number. So I'm just skimming through so that if any of this column is left out. So I think every column has been taken care and the data types are properly defined for the sales table. Okay, and the same thing I'm going to do with regions table. Just go to the region ID, suburb, city. I'm just going to navigate across, right? So all of them are fine. And then we have customers data. Both are fine. Products data is fine. So this is the very first step that you have to take care. And the second step that you need to take care is about the naming conventions. Naming conventions are very important when you start writing DAX formulas, because as and when you write a DAX formula in the DAX, whenever you're creating some measures, so you will be searching for your table name and the column name. So table name is nothing but the queries that you see on the left side. Right? This query here on the Power Query Editor is going to be called as a table in your Power BI desktop. Okay, so this is Power Query Editor window, right? This is a different window, and this is Power BI desktop. So when you are writing the DAX in the Power BI desktop, there you are going to refer the same query as a table, right? When you are on top of Power Query Editor, it is called as a query. So now it is important that you have a shorter name and crisp name. So I'm going to remove the sales underscore data because I don't want this underscore data repeated in all of these 4 tables. I can simply make it as a sales table. Having said that, not only the table name, but the column name is very important. So you have to make sure the column name is properly structured, because the naming conventions are very important here. So order space number, which is perfectly fine, O capital letter, N capital letter. So you should follow some syntax in some kind of naming convention. So make sure every other column is having the similar format. So you can simply scan, just move across all of these columns: product ID, order quantity, unit price, total unit cost, total revenue. I think every column is good. Now I'm going to go through the second table, regions underscore data. First, I'm going to rename it regions, and then I'm going to make sure this names are proper. You can see the postcode is not proper, so I can say P capital, right? I can keep it postcode, longitude, latitude, full address. Customer ID, customer names, for the table name, customer table. And then we have products underscore data, product ID, product name, products table. Now what is next? So to set up the data, we already understood the importance of dates table. So I'm going to use the dates table here. So we are going to get the dates table, which is important for our model. So I'm going to go to new source, blank query. So I'm going to copy paste the script that we usually have it handy, right? The M code script that we spoke about earlier. I'm going to just quickly get that script from here. There's an M script. Everybody is aware of it, right? So let's copy this script, create our dates table, quickly by clicking on Advanced Editor, pasting it here, click on Done. So this is expecting us to enter the parameters, which is what is the range of the table that you need, right? So it's ready to populate the dates table or the calendar table, but we have to provide some parameters saying that, boss, this is the date start date, this is the end date. So this is the date range that is required for you to populate the calendar table or the dates table. So for that to decide it, that you need to make sure what is your data having, right? You have to make sure what is your dates ranges in your data set. So we have to go to the sales table, which is our main fact table, right? So this is going to be our fact table, which we already discussed in our data modeling uh, session. So please go through the previous recordings. Okay. So we understood this is the fact table. These are three are the dimension tables we are going to rely on and joining these tables, right? And then we are going to rely on the order date, which is the main date. So we have to make sure the order date is starting from January 1st, 2021. It is going back to the maximum date. So we can go to this transform and go to date and just go to the latest one so that we can see the last date in this particular column. So it is basically 12th of December 2023. So I can take roughly 31st December 2023 as my last date. Okay. As my end date. And the start date is like January 1st, 2021. So I'm going back to the query one parameters. I'm going to enter the date like 0101 2021, and I'm going to enter the date as 31st 12 2023. And I'm going to enter another parameter which is expected from this table as fiscal year. So I'm going to tell this that my April month is going to be my fiscal year. You can mention anything that you want. Click on invoke. This will generate the data. This has created our dates table. Okay. Let us rename it as dates table. And I'm going to move them into a proper grouping so that easy to handle, right? So now we have all those 5 tables ready, right? And now we can jump start our, you can click on close and apply. You have to make sure the next step is what? Step 3 or stage 3 is our data modeling, right? So since the option was already set up, right? I have not unchecked the option of automatically detecting the relationship between the tables. You can see next step will come as detecting the relationships. You can see, and automatically the relationships were defined. Let us go back to our model and see what is the data model that has come up. Okay. You can see all of the tables are related. You can double check this. So you have to make sure you are double checking this. This region ID is joined, product ID is joined, and customer ID is joined. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to make sure you arrange these tables like this for easier navigation. Okay. And then I'm going to, all right. So I'm going to join this dates table with the sales table using order date. I'm just dragging and placing like this. So there's a new join between date and the order date. So now our model is perfect and we can, jumpstart our journey with our DAX.